fam. Hey, I want to welcome you to Gye-Nyame Journey. I want to apologize for the little bit of lateness, but I just got a text this morning, and I needed to adjust who was on the Toast list. Somebody added some more ancestors to the list, and they was added to the list, so that kind of took my attention. So I apologize for the lateness. We still aren't up on Facebook yet, but I'm about to take care of that. And I also need to discuss what happened last night, because we were supposed to have the show. And once again, we kind of 2 weeks behind on the tribal quotes. But it's cool. We'll work it out in the end, right? Because we only got eternity to roll through this, right? Today is Nia. And is it the 17th? Yeah. Nia 817182. All right. So not only does tomorrow mark Marcus Garvey's birthday, but we have something else significant coming up as well. So we're moving into some major celebrations that have to do with slavery, with our captivity, however you feel you need to put it. It's all going down right now. So we're going to look at some of that stuff, but let me step away for a second. I forgot my glass. I forgot my water. You can't toast if you don't do water first, right? You gotta drink a water, right? Forgot my water. I don't know what the hell going on. So, last night, I was supposed to do a show, and I get home just a little bit early. I go down the basement. I do part of what I was supposed to do down the basement. I was letting the floor dry, but it's real damp down there, so the floor is drying slow, so I let it sit, and I'll finish the rest of it tonight. But then actually I'm about to put another coat down, you know what I'm saying, because I got to kill up just in case, the water wasn't kosher. So I'm putting ammonia down first, right? Then I'm going to come back after the ammonia dry, do the other side of the basement, move all the stuff to the other to the drier side and the clean side, and get busy doing all that. Then I am going to use some pine salt, go down there, freshen it up. Basement be smelling good for a couple of days, and I still got to get the rug out. The rug is super heavy. Well, anyway, I get home a little bit early, just a little bit early. Said, all right, cool. I am going to take a nap. Right, the classic old man trap. Take a nap. It's 7:15. I got time. I'm gonna lay down. I'm gonna take this nap. Right? Well, lay down, take the nap. 8 o'clock, come and gone. 8:30, come and gone. 9 o'clock, come and gone. 9:30, wake up. And I left my phone downstairs, so I didn't even have any time. So, I woke up confused, like, damn, I don't even remember going to bed. So I jumped up. I said, oh, shit. I came downstairs, and family, it was too late. I said, okay, that's cool. Ain't gonna cry over spilt milk. And so I said, all right, cool. We're cool. So, let's say I apologize today. We'll work on those sometime next week. Or maybe we might do a show this weekend, because we got remember, we got the African Village Arts Festival coming up. And so I'm going to have to get up and do a show early anyway tomorrow. I'm going to get up early tomorrow and do the show, right? So that means there's a possibility that I might have the lines open so we could discuss some of these proverbs and really, really get into it, get deep into it. All right. So I think I know what happens too, because when I send out the signal, and I don't get on soon enough, I think some of y'all have problems finding me, and that's cool. You come back on the rebound. Now, also, let me announce, I posted up on my timeline that Black Sands Entertainment is having voice auditions for their cartoon, and I personally think that this is a worthy endeavor. That people, you know what I'm saying, if y'all got some extra change, you know what I'm saying, that once a month that y'all donate something to Black Sands. If you haven't seen what they've been doing with some of the comics, you know what I'm saying, they got actual black comics, they doing black cartoons. It's a beautiful and it's a powerful thing. And it's based in ancient Kemet. They're using proper names and stuff like that. So y'all need to go and check out Black Sands Entertainment. It's posted up on my personal timeline as well as Gye-Nyame Journey. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope. It's a real dope. Cleveland liked the comic book. I got one of the comic books for Gina, but I always forget to give her my phone, or I'm gonna have to upload it onto one of these devices so that she could read it. But it's real good for our young people, and it gives them images of black people, you know, from darker than my complexion all the way up to light. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful, beautiful endeavor, and I think they're worthy of support. Now I posted up Revisionist History Season 2, Episode 3, and this one is about Brown versus the Board of Education, I think. First children going to school and what that was really about. Go and check that out. Malcolm Gladwell puts his foot into the story. He is a great storyteller. So now, but the piece we really need to talk about is this one here. It should have popped up on, because I push bulleted to myself. This is from a paper called The Independent. Yeah, The Independent. Details of horrific first voyages. So details of horrific first voyages in transatlantic slave trade revealed. Now, as the world ignores the ignominious 500th anniversary of buying and selling of slaves between Africa and America's historians uncover its first horrific voyage, the 500th anniversary of, in a sense, the beginning of the slave trade between or captive trade, or however you feel. You know what I'm saying? That's on you. But that trade, transatlantic trade, from Africa to America, right, is over 500 years, the first one. So they're going to talk a little bit about this. So let's go and read this a little bit. And guess what anniversary is? You want to know when it is? The anniversary is?
Damn, Ron, come on!
You know when the anniversary is?
What's the matter with you? Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. But there is no tomorrow. God damn it, there is no tomorrow. Hold on. I just clicked something wrong. So let's go and get that off. Alright. What is this? Disconnect. Almost completely ignored by the modern world, this month marks the 500th anniversary of one of history's most tragic and significant events, the birth of the Africa to America transatlantic slave trade. New discoveries are now revealing the details of the first horrific voyages. Exactly 5 centuries ago, on 18 August 1518, August 28th, 1518, if they had been using our modern Gregorian calendar, the King of Spain, Charles I, issued a charter authorizing the transportation of slaves direct from Africa to America. Up until that point, since at least 1510, African captives or slaves had usually been transported to Spain or Portugal and had been transshipped to the Caribbean. Charles' decision to create a direct, more economically viable Africa to America slave trade fundamentally changed the nature and scale of this terrible human trafficking industry. Over the subsequent 350 years, at least 10.7 million black Africans were transported between the two continents. A further 1.8 million died en route. That shit say? Okay, we're going to read on. Alright. This month's quincentenary is of a tragic event that caused untold suffering and still today leaves a legacy of poverty, racism, inequality, and elite wealth across 4 continents. But it also quite literally changed the world and still geopolitically, socially, economically, and culturally continues to shape it even today. And yet the anniversary has almost been completely ignored. There has been a general failure by most historians and others to fully appreciate the huge significance of August 1518. Let's read that again. There has been a general failure by most historians and others to fully appreciate the huge significance of August 1518 in the story of the transatlantic slave trade, said one of Britain's leading slavery historians, Professor David Richardson of the University of Hull's Wilberforce Institute for the Study of Slavery and Emancipation. The sad reality is that there currently are only 2 or 3 academics worldwide studying the origins of the transatlantic slave trade, and much of our knowledge about it has only been discovered over the past 3 years. The discoveries we made are transforming our understanding of the very beginnings of the transatlantic slave trade. Remarkably, up till now, it's been a shockingly understudied area, said Professor David Wheat of Michigan State University, a historian who has been closely involved in the groundbreaking research. In the August 1518 charter, the Spanish king gave one of his top council of state members, Lorenzo de Cordovad, permission to transport 4,000 Negro slaves, both male and female, to the West Indies, the Caribbean islands, and America's mainland of the Atlantic Ocean Sea, already discovered or to be discovered by ship direct from the West African Isles of Guinea and other regions from which they want to bring the said Negroes. Needed some water on that one. Although the charter has been known to historians for at least the past 100 years, nobody until recently knew whether the authorized voyage had ever taken place. Now, as yet unpublished research shows that those royally sanctioned operations did indeed take place, with some of the earliest ones occurring in 1519, 1520, May 1521, and October 1521. Spain, you owe me some money. Spain, we coming to get it, right? These 4 voyages, all discovered by American historians over the past 3 years, were from a Portuguese trading station called Argon. Alright, so Portugal, don't like y'all anyway. Want my money, right? were from a Portuguese trade station called Argum, a tiny island off the coast of what is now northern Mauritania, to Puerto Rico in the Caribbean. The first three carried, what's up, Brother Kwame? The first three carried, we're talking about the anniversary of the transatlantic captive trade or slave trade, or however you want to say. Tomorrow is the 500th year anniversary. Incredible, right on Marcus Garvey's birthday, right? These 4 voyages, all discovered by American historians over the past 3 years, were from a Portuguese trading station called Argum, a tiny island off the coast of what is now northern Mauritania, to Puerto Rico in the Caribbean. The first 3 carried at least 60, 54, and 79 captives respectively, but it is likely that there were other voyages from Argum to Hispaniola, modern-day Haiti, and Dominican Republic. The discoveries were made in Spanish archives by 2 historians, Dr. Wheat of Michigan State and Dr. Mark Eagle of Western Kentucky University. It is likely that at least 1520. It is likely that at least the 1520 voyage, and conceivably also the 1519 one, was by a Portuguese or Spanish caravel called the Santa Maria de la Luz, captained by a mariner called Francisco or even Fernando de Rosa. The new research also showed that one of the 1521 voyages was by another caravel, the San Miguel, captained by a probably Basque sailor called Martin de Uriquic, who was acting on behalf of 2 prominent Seville-based businessmen, Juan Hernandez de Castro and Caspar de Centurion. The Argum story had its genesis more than 70 years earlier, when in 1445 the Portuguese established a trading post so that Portugal could acquire cheaper supplies of gold, gum, and Arabic slaves. Gum, Arabic, and slaves. By 1455, up to 800 slaves a year were being purchased there and then shipped back to Portugal. Don't like Portugal anyway. Y'all gonna give me my money. I'm reading an article from the Independent paper about the 500-year anniversary of the captive trade. They got articles that trace back the first official voyage to 1518, August the 18th. Interesting, right? All right. So by 1455, all right, where we at? All right. By 1455, up to 800 slaves a year were being purchased there and then shipped back to Portugal. Argum Island was just offshore from a probable coastal slave trade route between a series of slave trading West African states, who almost certainly sold prisoners of war as slaves. Damn, they like that word, don't they? And the Arab state of North Africa. Some of those Arab states, come to get my money. However, any reliance on buying slaves from Arab slave trade operations did not last long, for in or by 1522, some 2,000 miles southeast of Argum, direct slave voyages started between the islands of Sao Tome off the northwest coast of Central Africa and Puerto Rico, and probably other Caribbean ports. Academic research shows that this 1522 voyage carried no fewer than 139. Another voyage in 1524, discovered in 2016, carried just 18, plus lots of other non-human merchandise. But other mostly recently discovered voyages in 1527, 1529, and 1530 carried 257, 248, 231 people respectively in captivity. On average, therefore, each early voyage from Sao Tome carried much greater numbers of people than the ones from Argum. It also it is also likely that there were many other slave voyages between 1518 and 1530 which still await discovery by archival research. There was also at least 6 early slave voyages from the Cape Verde Islands off the West African coast to the Caribbean between 1518 and 1530, laden with black African captives acquired by Cape Verdean slave traders, mainly from local African rulers and traders in what is now Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, and Guinea and Sierra Leone. But apart from the Spanish king himself, who were the people who launched a direct transatlantic slave trade from Africa to the Caribbean exactly 500 years ago? The most senior was the man Charles awarded the slave trade charter. The most senior was the man Charles awarded the slave trade charter to in August 1518. He was Laurent de Guavanat, Lorenzo de Guavada in Spanish, a Flemish aristocrat and member of the Spanish King's Council of State. Flanders, predominantly the northern part of modern Belgium, was part of the Burgundian Netherlands ruled by Charles. They got a picture of him. Yeah. But for Laurent, the charter was simply a license from an old chum to make money without actually doing the appalling dirty work himself, as he was specifically allowed to, by the charter. He subcontracted the operations to Juan Lopez de Ricaldi, the treasurer of the Spanish government agency with responsibility for all Caribbean matters, who in turn sold the rights to transport 3,000 of the 4,000 people to Seville-based Genoese merchant. Augustin de Vivaldi and his Castilian colleagues, Fernando Vasquez, and the right to carry the remaining 1,000 to another Genoese merchant, Domingo de Fornari. Vivaldi and Vasquez then, at a profit, resold the rights to transport their 3,000 to 2 well-connected Castilian merchants, Juan de la Torre and Juan Fernandez de Castro, and to a famous Seville-based Genoese banker, Gaspar Centurion, who, along with Fornari, subcontracted work directly or indirectly to various ship captains. Family, they giving up the names. All we gotta do is do the research. I'm going to get my money. I might be in Spain this summer, looking up some of these, because you know some of these people still got money, still rolling in money from back then, right? So let's go on and finish up. Let me see how much more is left. It's like a long, sad tale. Long. Giving up names, though. Alright. Well, you can finish that. I'm not going to finish that. No, they use the word slave in there so much. I feel they trying to hypnotize my ass. I'm not going to stand for that shit. Alright, family. But y'all can do your research. Let's drink our water. So I want to welcome everybody. Once again, I want to apologize about last night's show. I fell for the old man trick and said I was going to take a nap. And a nap, you know, what can you say? The nap didn't stay a nap. One of my cousins and I discussed all the records in Spain that have not been tapped before his passing. Yeah, man. They giving it up right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Spain. I mean, they shit. Hey. So, and London. All of them got records that they don't want to give up because they don't want to pay that money. You know what I'm saying? They, you know. So, and then, you know, the records had the names, and you could trace the names back to prominent families. And, you know, nobody want to be caught wearing a dirty glove. Nobody want to be caught wearing a bloody glove. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, You got banking families that are still rolling in dough. Here in America, in Europe, you know what I'm saying? Even in Africa, you know what I'm saying? Because some of the families over there benefited. And we got to be honest about all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And all of them need to gather up that cake and them resources. Because we coming to knock. You know what I'm saying? And we collected like the RS. No. You know what I'm saying? No excuses accepted. That's how we got to be. That's how you got to be about your shit. Okay, you got to be like the RS. No excuses accepted, my friend. You want to make a payment? You know what I'm saying? You want to make payment arrangements? You know what I'm saying? Because if the IRS get me for money that I don't have and wait till I create that shit, we could wait. We'll take payments. We're not unreasonable. No, not unreasonable at all. Not unreasonable at all. So I'm put on some water drinking music real quick, so I ain't got to sit here and look at me drink water in silence. Oh, here go a commercial.
I am a Gye-Nyame man. I was born for greatness. My greatness comes from my potent sinner. I pledge to find and connect with my sinner. I pledge to build my spirit, mind, and body. I pledge to use my hands to build a better world for myself, my loved ones, and my community. I pledge to use my mind to think deeper, further, and higher to create a better reality for myself. I pledge to live my life and go beyond all my self-imposed limitations. I pledge to promote the principles of the Gye-Nyame warrior and to assist all those seeking the path of success. I pledge all these things first to myself, to teachers, to all my relations, and to my higher power. I am Gye-Nyame. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. That is the Gye-Nyame pledge that is said by all of our true members at least once a day. Peace and welcome to our YouTube channel. Check out our videos and podcasts. Subscribe as well as join the journey. Push past your self-imposed limitations within the Gye-Nyame journey. Peace.
Alright. So, we finished that. So now we about to do our toast, family. I want to thank each of y'all for taking the time to join me each day. There's something about that whole piece kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. I guess I'm gonna wash that out with this ambrosia, right? So, but yeah, so we moving up on the 500th anniversary of people making money off of us, and they still continue making money off of us. And I mean, we're gonna have some stuff that we really got to deal with. We really got to wrestle with, family. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be awful hard. I mean, it's almost damn near impossible for us to leave a legacy now with people making come-ups in the way that they're making come-ups off of us, right? Or who have made come-ups off of us, and then people want to be like, oh, well, you're just not working hard enough. Okay, whatever. All right, so we're going to raise up our glass to the creator by whatever name you choose to call that creator. We call on that great force. We call on that first power, and we say, Ashe. Next, where do we go? We go to the stars of the show. We're going to come over to our ancestors, and we have some new ones that was added to the list. Shouts out to Elder Ori Pianki, throwing some more ancestors on the list. Family, do your research. Start to get to know your people if you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Start learning your family line. I think one of the important things that Elder Wakesa also brought to us was the Family Lore Projects. You know, we've been doing this for a while, right? As far as the Toast Nia ancestors, and But I don't think the Family Lore Project or tracing your ancestors is just something that should just be left to our children. I think a lot of us got some unanswered questions about who we come from and what we come from. You know what I'm saying? That we might need to start looking and searching and finding some of those stories before it's too late to get them. You know what I'm saying? Because many are like, once you get into your 30s, if you're fortunate, you still got people around. And I'm just saying, you need to talk with them and start getting some of the stories of their lives. I'm glad I sat down with my grandmother and my grandmothers, my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? To find out a little bit. Just get, even though they didn't want to tell me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Gave me little pieces. You know what I'm saying? But they gave me, right? Because I asked. You know what I'm saying? I remember I used to have a little black book that I used to carry around so that I could keep track of my ancestors, because every time I went back to Akron from Columbus, I would stop and I would ask me some questions. You know what I'm saying? And I would double check to make sure I got the right names. This is why I know Miles Brown, Miss Ann Robert, and Texana Davis, Herman Brown, Senior, Rosalie Tilly, Georgia William Walton, Chris and Fanny Gatson. This is why I know because I've been practicing. I had me a list. So we're gonna read our ancestors. Miles Brown, Miss Ann Robert, and Texana Davis, Herman Brown Senior, Rosalie Tilly, Georgia William Walter, Christopher Fanny Gatson, Aunt Lena, Uncle Chris, Aunt Fiend, Cleveland Janine Brown, Margaret Ellis, Wash Ellis, Cecil Ellis, Alvaro Brown, Gina Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Wash Ellis Jr., Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Toppin, John Fallard, Montague Pittman, Normal X, Zapet Ma, Ron, Malika Fakur, Dr. Marion Williams, Kojo Kamal, Elder Farmer, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusuf Weston, Elder Ajani, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Brofro Ector Jr., Jay Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling Lucy Wright, Diego Pullian, the Luxter Brother, Miss Edith Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Brunson, Mr. Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janice Foster, Charles Jordan, Kill Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Triggs, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Rendelman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Lois Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Raymond Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Kellen D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Melvin Dale Hodge Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clay, Bird Beatty, Sarah Well, Evita Farmer, Argoso Sue, Cheryl Harvey, Aunt Charmaine, Aunt Evelyn, Theolis Hasbury, Harvey Hasbury Sr., Leonard Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thornton, Pearl G. Thornton, Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thornton, Erica, Tricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, Mary Esther Keachler Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Jarrell Giles, Watson, Sparrow, Slimmy, Selvin Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore Jr., Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bolden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Hilda Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Lavina Hall, Freeman Bankston, Mary Moss, Ophelia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kennedy, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey. Cleveland, you up? Cleveland! Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quills, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quills, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon. It's real life here at Gye-Nyame Journey. Leon Johnson, Charles Bell, Vivian Ramsey, Essie Johnson, Dorita Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W.S. Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry World, James Farmer, Mary Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Hattie Levester, Mary Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martineer, Elder Amitat Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Thelma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey and Eleanor Howe, Franklin Russell Davis, Fred Douglas Triggs II, Vena Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy May Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brenda Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carla Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy. We got Mazarine Kofer and George Swan, Edmonia Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott, Reginald Oliver, Jacqueline Broadus, Ethel H. McNair, Louis Fernandez, Lois, my fault, Lois. I gotta respell that. Lois Fernandez, Edward R. Benson Sr., Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rayshawn Easley, Javea McCormick, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Irvin, Hiram Phillips, William Ford Jr., Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Irvin Sr., Michael Irvin, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Muriel Ellis, Elizabeth Battles, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Brantley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Baba Naeem, Tim Butler, Ramey Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., John Dewey and Ruth Beard, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Bet Vaughn, Lud Oz, Elijah Oz, Jerome Oz, Henry West Staton, Joe Jamel Oz, Miss Vanilla, Albus Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Earleton Houston, Albert Moore, Leroy Q. Heath Sr., Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Hairston, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mary Frances Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Vivian Stevenson, Neely Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Kofer, Doretha Ross, Riola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Lester and Rachel Saunders, John Bowie, Alex Nixon, Eula and Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie, Harriet Tubman Cates, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatch, Hatch Sr., Mally Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson. Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Aunt Becca, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, George and Haley Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Donna Hill, Richard Gleavis, Jerry Doyle, Mina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Emma McClendon, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Irving, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Stacy Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Hazel Gasson, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Cathy, Jennifer Sensenbaugh, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, Audrey Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Carter Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Pina Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Printup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbur Longmire, Edith Catney, Eugene Spratling, Calvin Spratling, Phyllis Lee, DeFredis Hines, Inez Bostic, Edna Bostic, Winifred Scantleberry. We lift up and we say, Ashe. From there, we move to the present moment.
Damn, Ron, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow!
All right. We are on Nia. For those that don't speak the language, Nia's purpose. That's today. On the meiotic principle of the day is balance. The color is yellow. Rhythm is the Hermetic law. If you were born on this day and you male, the name is Kopi. If you female, it's Afua. Uh-oh. What's up, Afua? So, if we look at the Emotional Emancipation Circles, African Center Cultural Virtue and Value System, we will be on Mandu in Wolof. Mandu, being appreciative of what you have, not envious of others. Akan ethics, justice. Justice. And in traditional Yoruba today, we're looking at Titu, endurance. Alright? Remember, peace, power, and joy is the natural state. We strive towards that. But when we get off it, we get certain feelings, and the feelings, we could kind of separate it, divide it, and multiply it. You know what I'm saying? Subtract. You know what I'm saying? We're going to come up, and we're going to run into one of these three. Mad, question you ask is, how have I been violated? Once you have established what is truly that you're feeling truly mad, and you've been violated, right? I need to set limits, reestablish boundaries. Plus, mad is a emotion that happens in a now, right? Then we move to sad. If you think it's sad, you ask your question, what is the loss? If you're sad, you lost something, right? Boom. What support do you need? Do you need space? You need time to grieve? You need time to let go? You know what I'm saying? Sad is emotion of the past. And scared. You ask yourself, what is the danger? What is the danger? I need protection, support, reassurance. Get out, find those things. Remember, in this system, you got to be willing to ask. So you need a tribe around you so you can go and pick up that phone if you need to. You know what I'm saying? And scared is an emotion of the future. We got to talk about those violations. So I'm going to look at my notes and talk about those three types of violations in the whole mad piece. There's three ways you can be violated. So we can be clear on that. I get ready for this upcoming school year, right? So we lift up our glass. We say Ashe, saluting the present moment because we know this is all we have. This is all we ever will have. And we need to work in it. You know what I'm saying? There is no tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So we got to grind it out today. We got to get the hustle. We got to get on the heart hustle today, right? So we lift up the glass. We say Ashe. From there, we move to our future, our children, our children's. We toast our children's children on to infinity. Lift up our glass, and we say Ashe. From there, where do we go? Where you go? Where we go? Where we go from here? Where you go from here? Where else can you go from here? Right? Move to all of our relations. Pow. Lift up that glass, salute all of our relations, right? And we say Ashe. Now we move to the selfish libation. If we call for the ancestors and creator to be here, guess what? They're here, right? So we lift up our glass, hold it up for you, right? Because you might be drinking out of paper glass or something, you know. You might not be past 35 and have the stipulation of having to have at least some glass to toast the ancestors with, right? So we lift up the glass, hold it up for a second. That selfish libation, family. What is it that you need? Lift it up, we say Ashe. From there, where do we go? Finally, toast the most powerful being in the room. And guess who that is? That's you. I lift up my glass to you, and we say Ashe. 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 Family, I wish you peace, power, joy, and 100 years. You have a great, marvelous Nia. I will see you tomorrow at the festival. All right. Or tomorrow morning for the show, and then we'll see you at the festival. Peace. You work this weekend, right?